Thank you all for attending. Good morning. My name is not Andy Schwartz, even though that's what appears on the screen here. My name is Limor Rosen, and I am an Assistant General Counsel at SBS. This is a New York City Department of Small Business Services virtual hearing. It is a public hearing being held pursuant to the New York City Administrative Procedure Act, also known as CAPA. And present here today are a number of SBS staff members and members of the public. Today's hearing concerns proposed amendments to the rules governing the MWBE program. The full text of the rule proposal and a statement of the basis and purpose was published in the City Record on April 8th, 2021, and on the New York City Rules website. The proposed rules were certified by the New York City Law Department and the New York City's Office of Operations. By way of background, the city's MWBE program, codified in Chapter 56 of the Charter and Section 6129 of the Administrative Code, establishes goals for participation by minority-owned business enterprises, women-owned business enterprises, and emerging business entities as contractors and subcontractors in procurements for construction, standard services, goods valued under $1 million, and professional services. Charter Section 1304 also requires the Commissioner of SBS to establish and operate on behalf of the city a centralized program for the certification of MBEs, WBEs, and EBs for the purposes of establishing their eligibility for participation in the programs. This proposed rule would implement provisions of Local Law 174 for the year 2019 and Local Law 176 for the year 2019, and establish new requirements related to the process by which the city certifies businesses as minority-owned enterprises or women-owned enterprises, and sets goals for their utilization on city procurement contracts. So at this time, we will open the floor to give an opportunity to members of the public to testify and share their comments. We will begin by unmuting those who have requested to testify one at a time. So the request that I've received from before the hearing started was from Jacqueline Tacarante, and so I'm going to unmute her first. For those who wish to testify and did not sign up to do so prior to this hearing, please use the raise hand feature of WebEx, and we will add you to the list and unmute you one at a time. And for those who dialed in, you can also raise your hand by pressing *3. So we're going to start with Jacqueline. I'm going to unmute you. Hello?
There we go. Hey, y'all. Good morning.
Hi.
How are you? Thank you so very much. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Jacqueline Tacarante. I'm a small business owner living in the greenest borough here on Staten Island. I own and manage the largest marketing and public relations agency, JMT Media. Many of you probably do not know this, but I'm actually the first official Native American MWBE in New York City history, and I proudly serve as the second vice president of the Minority Women in Business Association of Staten Island, the first of its kind. It's good to be here, and thank you all to all the city agencies working on behalf of the small business community of Staten Island. Today's presented amendments require a high-level view of understanding the current MWBE roster and the big one, unequitable distribution. With some industries receiving 17% here and less than 2% there, the city needs to provide a plan for equitable outreach to minority communities, including the LGBTQ community. To acquire information, and we've gone through this before, from Dun & Bradstreet and reports every 7 years, it's not an accurate representation of the vast, diverse, and colorful small business sector that keeps New York City alive. We need support from city agencies for accessibility for city funding, adequate accessibility for services and outreach from qualified representatives that truly understand the needs of small business. The MWBE certification program was supposed to be set up to help with all of the historic barriers. If you create a program that is constantly perpetuating that, it is doing absolutely nothing. It is not serving small businesses, it is creating more and more barriers, aside from the access to capital funding, resources, and time. Even MBA, it took me over 9 months to acquire the coveted NYC MWBE certification. I often think about my neighbors and friends who are also minority business owners, but they do not have the time for additional historic barriers. I would encourage the city to review your existing practices of retrieving data before amending or proposing any sort of new legislation. I want to thank you all for your work during unprecedented times and for showing up. And I look forward to working with y'all to help push through initiatives to help small businesses across this beautiful city. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jacqueline, for your comments. Thank you. I don't see any additional hands raised. I'm going to unmute the person who dialed in so they can identify themselves and let us know if they want to comment. Hello?
They appear to have disconnected. Anymore?
Yeah. Okay. The person whose name appears as Iskriz piece, I will unmute you and give you an opportunity to comment and give us your name. Hello? Can you hear me? I don't know if you're speaking, but I cannot hear you. Okay. Can you, I see that you wrote in the chat that you do not wish to testify and have no mic. Can you please just give us your name? You can write it in the chat. Okay, thank you. Okay. Well, it seems that there are no other members of the public who wish to comment, but I'm going to wait a couple of minutes just in case others would like to join, and we're just late in doing so. So please bear with us. Okay, so I think we're gonna hold this meeting open until 10:30, but those who wish to log off can do so, and we'll keep the meeting open for anybody who wants to join. until that time. Thank you so much for those who attended and spoke. Okay, everybody, the time is now 10:30, and we will be concluding the hearing at this time. If you would like to submit a comment in writing, you can do so by 5 p.m. today. So thank you again for attending.